From Bodyguard to Billionaire, discovering my lost childhood love is the Tycoon I serve. Lin Kai thought being a bodyguard to a spoiled, male-allergic heiress was just a paycheck. He endured her whims, her secrets, and even her attempts to spy on him. But when a violent socialite assaults a lowly maid on their luxury cruise, Lin Kai makes a shocking discovery. The abused servant is the beloved sister he thought was dead. And the heiress he's protecting? She's the childhood sweetheart he once saved, now hunting for him with a fortune to share. As a storm rages in the Bermuda Triangle, a single act of brutal revenge will shatter all their carefully built lies. Catapulting a former Special Forces soldier from a mere employee to the center of a high-stakes game of love, vengeance, and reclaimed destiny. Chapter 1. The Willful Heiress. Harder. Miss, this is the third time today. Stop the nonsense. Do you still want to keep your job? Aboard a luxurious cruise ship in the presidential suite's bedroom, Lin Kai was exerting himself over a woman. At 24 years old, standing at 1.88 meters with a robust physique, Lin Kai had grown up in the countryside without parents. At 18, he was recruited by a Special Forces unit, spending 6 years honing his skills abroad, acquiring extensive survival experience. The woman's name was Xia Qianqian, a stunning beauty at 1.75 meters, the daughter of the wealthiest family in Longhua, the Xia Group. To celebrate her 24th birthday, she extravagantly chartered the entire Elizabeth cruise ship for $20 million. All her guests, including over 2,000 female crew members and staff, were exclusively women, with Lin Kai being the sole male. Having returned to the country 6 months ago, Lin Kai became Xia Qianqian's personal bodyguard, having caught her attention due to his Special Forces background. Over 6 months of interaction, he discovered that the heiress was not only willful and capricious, but also often compelled him to perform tasks beyond his duties. What was worse, she had a penchant for spying on him while he bade fortunate for him. He always caught her in the act, or his virtue would have been compromised. He pondered whether she had hired him for his capabilities or merely for his physique. If it weren't for the generous compensation she provided, he would have departed long ago. I must ask, miss, why did you specifically choose me as your bodyguard and offer such a high salary? Is there something more in your intentions? His hands kneaded her long, fair legs, relishing the satin-like texture beneath his fingers, and he couldn't help but inwardly admire her. Though her temperament was somewhat abrasive, her beauty was indeed captivating. Particularly her legs, which could be deemed masterpieces, fair and delicate, surpassing even professional models. It's because I have a male allergy, any contact with men causes rashes. Only you and my father don't trigger it, which is why I'm able to offer you $1 million a year, Xia Qianqian explained, eyes closed in bliss as Lin Kai massaged her. Due to her allergy, she had never experienced the service of a male technician. Since Lin Kai became her bodyguard, she finally enjoyed massages comparable to those of professional therapists, sighing in comfort. Only then did Lin Kai recall that since becoming her bodyguard, all tasks involving male contact were assigned to him, revealing her peculiar allergy. He remembered a little girl he knew in his childhood who had a similar condition. Could it be mere coincidence? Even so, you needn't go to such lengths to filter the mosquitoes on board, only allowing the females? Nonsense. How do you know the mosquitoes on board are all female? Because only female mosquitoes suck blood, much like certain capitalists. Careful now. Dare to call me a female mosquito, focus on the massage, or ill dock your wages. Xia Qianqian retorted. In truth, she had another motive for this cruise, to find Li Ergu, the boy who had saved her in her childhood. She had been abducted by human traffickers at birth and sold to a family in Xiaoxi village, where she was named Huang area. During her early years, she endured a life of hunger and cold, often rejected due to her allergy until she met Li Ergu at the age of 3. Li Ergu had also been abducted to Xiaoxi village at birth, and she discovered he did not trigger her male allergy. Though they were the same age, Li Ergu cared for her like an older brother, secretly providing her with treats. Her most vivid memory was at 5, when she was mocked by several boys in the village due to her allergy and a dog bit her. Li Ergu sustained a grievous injury trying to protect her from the dog, leaving a scar that she could never forget. At 6, Li Ergu finally found an opportunity to escape Xiaoxi village and took her with him. However, they were discovered by the traffickers en route, and to ensure her safe escape, he was recaptured. She wept as she boarded a bus to Yinyu City, where kind-hearted souls sent her to an orphanage. At 12, She was reunited with her biological parents, who renamed her Xia Qianqian. Upon reuniting, she immediately sent someone to rescue Li Ergu, but when she returned to Xiaoxi village, he had vanished without a trace. 12 years had passed, yet she had never ceased her search for him, always coming up empty-handed. Recently, she learned that Li Ergu had been spotted on an island in Bermuda, prompting her to clandestinely alter her cruise route under the pretense of celebrating her birthday to find him. From childhood, she had harbored feelings for Li Ergu, a sentiment that had remained unchanged. She vowed to find him, marry him, and share half of Xia Group's wealth, granting him a life of luxury. As Xia Qianqian lost herself in memories, she instinctively retrieved the crescent-shaped stone strung around her neck, gently caressing it. This was the only item Li Ergu had left her, though merely an ordinary stone. In her eyes, it was the most precious treasure in the world. Lin Kai noticed the stone in her hand and paused momentarily. He recalled that the little girl he had known, Huang Area, had a crescent-shaped birthmark on her inner thigh, and he had gifted her a similar stone. Moreover, she, like Huang Area, suffered from a male allergy. Could it be that Xia Qianqian was indeed Huang Area from Xiaoxi village? Miss, with your wealth, why do you still cherish a mere stone? Lin Kai voiced his curiosity. Xia Qianqian shot him a glare, lifting her delicate leg to playfully poke his chin with her toe. Dare to call this a mere stone? Are you itching for some excitement? Lin Kai's gaze fell upon her exquisitely shaped foot, a subtle fragrance wafting to his nostrils, causing him to swallow hard. He recalled when he first became Xia Qianqian's bodyguard, accidentally breaking her beloved vase. She had erupted in fury, throwing him over her shoulder, leaving him utterly disoriented. My little Area was sweet and endearing. How could she transform into this willful and violent heiress? Lin Kai silently critiqued, then feigned compliance. I wouldn't dare. I only meant that the stone is rather ordinary, hence my casual inquiry. Humph, as long as you understand. Speak out of turn again, and I'll let you experience my legendary shoulder throw. Only then did Xia Qianqian relent. Since Lin Kai had become her bodyguard, she had also pondered whether he might be Li Ergu. She had stolen glances at him while he bathed, hoping to confirm whether he bore the scar from the dog bite. However, he was always too alert, catching her every time she tried, leaving her with no choice but to abandon her quest. Though he did not trigger her allergy like Ergu, his sharp tongue and lack of humor were a far cry from her gentle and caring Ergu. He could not possibly be him. Frustrated, Xia Qianqian thought, inadvertently raising her leg and revealing a glimpse beneath her skirt. Lin Kai caught a glimpse of the lace edges of her underwear, where a crescent-shaped birthmark was unmistakably visible on her inner thigh. In that instant, his hand froze, pupils dilating as a thunderbolt of realization struck his mind. This birthmark, both in shape and location, was identical to Huang Area's. This meant that Xia Qianqian is indeed Huang Area. Chapter 2. Sudden Thunderstorm. At that moment, the cruise ship swayed gently. Lin Kai's hand unintentionally ventured deeper towards Xia Qianqian's birthmark, and he felt a silky texture. Xia Qianqian was momentarily stunned, quickly realizing something, and her face flushed crimson. Where are you touching? Do you believe I will toss you into the sea to feed the fish? She raised her leg and mercilessly kicked towards Lin Kai's chest. Lin Kai reacted swiftly, grasping her long leg in his arms. Miss, it was unintentional. You can't throw me to the fish. What would become of your future happiness without me? Privately, he scoffed at her fiery temper. Huang Area was indeed quick to anger, transforming from a gentle lamb into a fierce tigress. Oh heavens, restore my innocent little flower. Her life had been too indulgent. A great catastrophe might just temper her foul mood. Xia Qianqian snorted, slowly retracting her leg. Still daring to speak sweetly? Don't think I won't throw you overboard. You've grown bolder. Lin Kai explained, it's just that I've been adrift at sea for too long, missing my sister, and I momentarily lost focus. Xia Qianqian's tone softened slightly. I never knew you had a sister. Why have you never mentioned her? You never asked. Her name is Lin Xia, a year older than me, and the most important person in my life. As he spoke, Lin Kai picked up the pendant hanging from his neck, slowly opening it to reveal a photograph of Lin Xia, taken when she was 18, alongside him. The girl in the photograph bore a sweet smile, her long hair cascading down her shoulders, leaning affectionately against Lin Kai. Since the day he helped Huang area escape from Xiaoxi village at the age of 6, only to be captured again, he had endured torment, living a life shrouded in darkness. At 12, he nearly lost his life to heartless traffickers until Lin Xie, passing through Xiaoxi village, called the police and rescued him, leading him away from that dreadful place. From that day forth, Lin Xie's family took him in, and he adopted the name Lin Kai. Coming from a single-parent household with poor conditions, Lin Xie treated him like her own brother. To support his education, she worked part-time after school, living frugally herself. Lin Kai witnessed all of this. It was Xie who rescued him from hell, giving him a second chance at life. He silently vowed to achieve success in the future, allowing Xie to live the happiest, most carefree life possible. During his 6 years as a Special Forces soldier, this photograph silently sustained him and became his reason for living. Upon returning home, he sought out Lin Xie immediately. However, he was met with the heartbreaking news that Lin Yi had died in a car accident 3 years prior, and Lin Xie had vanished without a trace. Lin Kai clenched his fists, vowing to find Xie, whether she was alive or dead. Xia Qianqian gazed at the girl in the photograph, whose beauty rivaled her own, with a glimmer of melancholy in her eyes. So Lin Kai had a sister named Lin Xie. Brother Ergo had mentioned he was an orphan, but it seemed he truly was not. Just as the atmosphere grew heavy, the cruise ship suddenly rocked violently, causing Xia Qianqian to yelp and nearly tumble from the bed. Lin Kai, quick on his feet, reached out and pulled her into his embrace. "Miss, be careful, your precious behind is at stake. If you get hurt, I can't bear the responsibility." Xia Qianqian's face flushed to her ears, and feeling Lin Kai's strong arm, her heart raced as if it might leap from her throat. This guy, despite his lewdness, always managed to make her feel so secure in critical moments. If only he were Brother Ergo. At that moment, the room's intercom crackled to life, announcing, "Attention, passengers! The time is now 8 p.m. The cruise ship has entered the Bermuda Triangle, and we are currently experiencing a thunderstorm. Please remain calm." The Bermuda Triangle? Lin Kai frowned slightly. This was a perilous area where countless ships and planes had vanished. And now, they were facing a thunderstorm. Could it be that his ominous words had come true? As the announcement concluded, shouting erupted from outside the room, causing Xia Qianqian to feel a surge of anxiety. "Lin Kai, is something wrong?" "Miss, don't worry. I'll go take a look." Lin Kai released her from his embrace, rising from the bed and walking towards the door. Following the sound, he arrived at the banquet hall, finding numerous socialites gathered together. In the center of the crowd stood Qin Sueki, the heiress of the Qin group, her expression furious, her haute couture dress stained with red wine, while a maid knelt on the floor. "You shameless wretch! Are your eyes blind? Do you know how much this dress costs? You couldn't pay for it, even if you sold yourself." "Miss Qin, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. The ship rocked too much just now. Is an apology enough? If you can't even serve drinks properly, you might as well get rid of those hands." Qin Sueki berated, raising her foot and viciously stomping down on the maid's hand with her 10-centimeter heels, the stiletto embedding deeply into her flesh. "Ah!" The maid let out a piercing scream, her previously fair hand now deformed under the heel. "Miss Qin, I'm sorry." She begged desperately to pull her hand back, but was held down by Qin Sueki, unable to move. This maid is truly unfortunate. Having served Qin Sueki for 3 years, she endures daily beatings and insults, suffering in silence. I wonder how she manages to endure it. It's all for the money. I've heard Qin Sueki is quite generous, but her temper is terrible. This maid probably endures all this for a measly reward. Those who are pitiful often have their own faults. If she had any backbone, she would have left long ago. Why endure such suffering? In the face of this scene, no one stepped forward to intervene, only offering cold mockery. Hearing the commotion, Lin Kai furrowed his brows. The Xia group had business dealings with the Qin group, and he ought not to meddle in this matter to avoid causing unnecessary trouble for Xia Qianqian. However, Qin Sueki had gone too far this time. The maid had clearly stated it was unintentional, yet Qin Sueki humiliated her publicly. Must a servant, simply for their role, be trampled underfoot with no dignity whatsoever? "Stop it!" Unable to bear it any longer, Lin Kai shouted, pushing through the crowd to stand before Qin Sueki. His roar echoed like thunder, instantly capturing the attention of everyone present. "Who are you? How dare you shout in front of me? Are you tired of living?" Chin Sweki crossed her arms, chin held high, her eyes filled with arrogance and disdain. Lin Kai ignored her, focusing on the woman on the ground. As he recognized her face and the star bracelet adorning her wrist, he felt as if struck by lightning, standing frozen in place. That familiar visage, though now marred by fear and helplessness, was unmistakably his long-lost sister, Lin Xie. Seeing her tear-streaked face and the injury inflicted by Chin Sweki, a tidal wave of rage surged within him. Lin Kai strode purposefully before Chin Sweki and raised his hand to deliver a resounding slap across her face, which was adorned with an air of arrogance. The sharp crack of the slap reverberated throughout the banquet hall, resonating with an extraordinary clarity. Chapter 1. The Willful Heiress. Harder. Miss, this is the third time today. Stop the chatter. Do you still want to keep your job? On a luxurious cruise ship, within the opulent presidential suite's bedroom, Lin Kai was exerting himself atop a woman. At the age of 24, standing at 1.88 meters, he possessed a robust physique, having grown up in a rural setting without parents. At 18, he was recruited by Special Forces and spent 6 years abroad honing his skills, culminating in a wealth of survival experience. The woman was named Xia Qianqian, a stunning beauty with a height of 1.75 meters and a figure to match, the beloved daughter of the wealthiest man in Longhua, the Xia Corporation. To celebrate her 24th birthday, Xia Qianqian extravagantly chartered the entire Elizabeth cruise ship for $20 million. The guests she invited, including the captain and over 2,000 staff members, were all women, leaving Lin Kai as the sole male presence. Having returned to the country 6 months ago, Lin Kai became Xia Qianqian's personal bodyguard, having caught her eye due to his impressive military background. Over the course of their half-year acquaintance, he discovered that this heiress was not only spoiled and willful, but also frequently tasked him with duties outside his professional realm. To make matters worse, she had a peculiar penchant for watching him bathe. Fortunately, he always caught her in the act, or else his chastity would have long been compromised. It was unclear whether she had hired him for his abilities or was simply drawn to his physique. Were it not for the generous compensation she provided, he would have departed long ago. "I must ask, miss, why do you insist on hiring me as your bodyguard, offering such a high salary? Is there something more you desire?" His hands kneaded her fair, slender calves, relishing the silky texture beneath his fingertips, quietly impressed. Though her temperament was somewhat abrasive, her beauty was truly captivating. Especially her legs, which could only be described as a masterpiece, flawless and delicate, surpassing even professional models. "It is because I am allergic to men. Any contact causes me to break out in hives. Only you and my father do not trigger my allergies, hence the exorbitant salary of $1 million per year," she replied, eyes closed, relishing his massage. Due to her allergy, she had never experienced the services of a male therapist until Lin Kai became her bodyguard, and now she was enjoying a massage that rivaled those of professional technicians, sighing in bliss. Lin Kai recalled that ever since he took on the role of her bodyguard, all tasks involving male interaction had fallen to him, revealing the nature of her allergy. He remembered a girl from his childhood who shared a similar affliction. Could it be mere coincidence? Even so, you need not be so particular that even the mosquitoes on board are meticulously screened to ensure only females remain, he jested. Nonsense. How do you know the mosquitoes on the ship are all female? That is because only female mosquitoes bite, much like certain capitalists, he quipped. How dare you? To liken me to a female mosquito? Just focus on a massage, otherwise I shall deduct your wages, Xia Qianqian retorted. In truth, she had another motive for this cruise, to seek out Li Ergu, the boy who saved her in her childhood. She had been abducted by human traffickers at birth and sold to a family in Xiaoxi village, where she was named Huang area. During her early years, she faced a life of deprivation and disdain due to her allergy until she met Li Ergu at the age of 3. Li Ergu had also been trafficked to Xiaoxi village at birth, and she discovered that he did not trigger her allergic reactions. Although they were the same age, he cared for her like an older brother, secretly sharing delicious treats with her. Her most vivid memory was at the age of 5, when boys from the village mocked her for her allergy and set a dog upon her. In her defense, Li Ergu had sustained a grievous injury from the dog while protecting her, leaving a scar that haunted her memories. Eventually, when she was 6, Li Ergu seized an opportunity to escape Xiaoxi village, taking her with him. However, they were discovered by traffickers en route, and he sacrificed himself as bait to ensure her escape. She sobbed as she boarded a bus to Yinyu City, where kind-hearted souls brought her to an orphanage. It was not until she was 12 that her biological parents, the wealthiest in the land, found her and renamed her Xia Qianqian. Upon reuniting with her parents, she immediately dispatched someone to rescue Li Ergu, but upon returning to Xiaoxi village, she found no trace of him. 12 years had passed, and her search for Li Ergu had yielded nothing until recently, when she learned he had appeared on an island in Bermuda. Thus, she seized the occasion of her birthday celebration to discreetly alter her course in search of him. Her affections for Li Ergu had persisted since childhood and remained unchanged. She vowed to locate him, marry him, and bestow half of the Xia Corporation's wealth upon him, granting him a life of luxury. Lost in her reverie, Xia Qianqian instinctively retrieved a crescent-shaped stone strung around her neck, caressing it gently. This was the sole memento Li Ergu had left her, though ordinary in appearance. It was the most precious treasure in her eyes. Lin Kai noticed the stone in her hand and paused momentarily. He recalled that the Huang area he had known as a child had a crescent-shaped birthmark on her inner thigh, and he had gifted her a stone identical to this one. Furthermore, both she and Huang area shared the same allergy to men. Could it be that Xia Qianqian was indeed Huang area from Xiaoxi village? Miss, with your wealth, why do you still cherish a mere stone? Lin Kai inquired, voicing his curiosity. Xia Qianqian shot him a glare, lifting her dainty leg to delicately nudge his chin with her toe. How dare you refer to this as a mere stone? Are you itching for trouble, wishing to engage in a little game? Lin Kai's gaze fell upon her elegant foot, a subtle fragrance wafting in the air, causing him to swallow hard. He recalled an incident when he first became her bodyguard, accidentally breaking her prized vase. She had erupted in fury, tossing him with such force that he felt his insides shift. His sweet Huang area was gentle and charming. How could she possibly resemble this willful and tempestuous heiress? He silently scoffed, offering a nonchalant response. Not that I would dare. It's just that the stone seems rather ordinary, and I merely asked out of curiosity. As long as you understand. Speak out of turn again, and you'll experience the wrath of my unparalleled shoulder throw. Xia Qianqian finally spared Lin Kai from further admonishment. In truth, since Lin Kai became her bodyguard, she had pondered whether he might be Li Ergu. She had often attempted to sneak a glance at him while he bathed, hoping to confirm whether he bore the scar from the dog bite on his rear. However, his heightened awareness thwarted her attempts each time, leading her to reluctantly abandon the endeavor. Though he shared an immunity to her allergies like her beloved Ergu, his sharp tongue and lack of humor set him world apart from her cherished companion. Her heart swelled with indignation. She raised her leg high, unconsciously revealing more than she intended. Lin Kai inadvertently caught a glimpse of the lace edges of her panties on the inner thigh, where a crescent-shaped birthmark was unmistakably visible. In that instant, his hand froze, his pupils dilating as a thunderous realization struck him. This birthmark, both in shape and location, was identical to Huang areas from his memories. In that moment, he understood. Xia Qianqian is indeed Huang area. Chapter 2. Sudden Thunderstorm. At this moment, the cruise ship swayed gently. Lin Kai's hand inadvertently delved deeper into Xia Qianqian's birthmark, feeling a smooth texture beneath his fingertips. Xia Qianqian was momentarily stunned, realizing what had transpired. Her face flushed a deep crimson. Were you touching? Do you believe I will toss you into the sea to feed the fish? She raised her leg and delivered a merciless kick towards Lin Kai's chest. Reacting swiftly, Lin Kai seized her long leg with both arms. Miss, I did not mean to, and as for feeding me to the fish without me, what will become of your happiness in the latter half of your life? Internally, he scoffed, noting how fiery Huang area's temper had become, flipping her mood in an instant. The once gentle lamb had transformed into a fierce tigress. Heavens, return my innocent little flower. She had lived too comfortably. Perhaps a great disaster would temper her foul temperament. Xia Qianqian huffed coldly, slowly retracting her leg. Still daring to be slick with words? Don't think I won't throw you overboard. Your audacity seems to have grown. Lin Kai explained, "It's just that having drifted at sea for too long, I found myself missing my sister and momentarily lost focus." Xia Qianqian's tone softened slightly. "I never realized you had a sister. How come you've never mentioned her?" "You never asked. Her name is Lin Xia. She is a year older than I and the most important person in my life." As he spoke, Lin Kai retrieved the pendant hanging around his neck, slowly opening it to reveal a photograph of Lin Xia, taken when she was 18, standing closely beside him. The girl in the photograph wore a sweet smile, her long hair cascading over her shoulders, leaning affectionately against Lin Kai. Since he had helped Huang Area escape from Xiaoxi village at the age of 6, he had endured torment and lived in darkness. At 12, he was nearly beaten to death by heartless traffickers, saved by Lin Xia, who reported to the authorities and led him away from that dreadful place. From that moment on, Lin Xia's family adopted him, and he changed his name to Lin Kai. Coming from a single-parent family with limited means, she treated him like a younger brother. To support his education, she worked menial jobs after school, living frugally herself. Lin Kai witnessed all of this. It was Xia who rescued him from hell, granting him a second chance at life. He silently vowed to achieve success in the future so that Xia could enjoy the happiest and most carefree life imaginable. During his 6 years as a Special Forces soldier, this photograph had been his silent support, the belief that sustained him. Upon returning home, he sought out Lin Xia immediately, only to receive the devastating news that Aunt Lin had died in a car accident 3 years prior, and that Lin Xia had vanished without a trace. Lin Kai clenched his fists regardless of whether Xia was alive or dead. He was determined to find her. Xia Qianqian gazed at the girl in the photograph, whose beauty rivaled her own, her eyes tinged with melancholy. So, Lin Kai had an older sister named Lin Xia. Ergo had mentioned he was an orphan, yet it seemed he was not truly Ergo. Just as the atmosphere grew heavy, the cruise ship suddenly rocked violently, prompting Xia Qianqian to exclaim as she nearly fell from bed. Lin Kai, quick to react, extended his arm and pulled her into his embrace. "Miss, be careful, your precious posterior is at risk. If you were to injure it, I would bear the responsibility." Xia Qianqian's face flushed deeply, her heart racing as she felt Lin Kai's strong, reassuring arm around her. This fellow, despite his frivolity, always managed to instill a sense of security in her during critical moments. If only he were Ergo. At that moment, the room's intercom crackled to life, the announcer's voice resonating through the air. "Attention passengers. The time is now 8 p.m. The cruise ship has entered the Bermuda Triangle and is currently experiencing a thunderstorm. Please remain calm." The Bermuda Triangle? Lin Kai frowned slightly. This was an exceedingly perilous area, notorious for countless missing ships and planes, and now facing a thunderstorm. Could it be that his ominous predictions had come to pass? As the announcement echoed, quarrels erupted outside the room, causing Xia Qianqian to feel anxious. "Lin Kai, do you think something will happen?" "Miss, do not worry, I will investigate." Lin Kai released his hold on her, rising from the bed and heading towards the door. Following the sounds, he arrived at the banquet hall, where numerous socialites had gathered. In the center of the crowd stood Qin Sweki, the daughter of the Qin group, her expression furious, her haute couture gown stained with red wine, while a woman in a maid's outfit knelt on the ground. "You wretched creature, are your eyes blind? Do you have any idea how much this dress costs? Even selling you wouldn't cover the damage." "Miss Qin, I am truly sorry. It was not intentional. The ship shook too violently. Is an apology enough? If you cannot even pour wine properly, you might as well lose those hands." Qin Sweki shouted, raising her foot to stomp down mercilessly on the maid's hand, her stiletto heel sinking deep into the flesh. "Ah!" The maid let out a heart-wrenching scream, her once fair hand now grotesquely deformed. "Miss Qin, I was wrong," she pleaded desperately, attempting to withdraw her hand, but Qin Sweki pressed down hard, rendering her immobile. This maid is truly unfortunate, having served Qin Sweki for 3 years. She endures daily abuse and humiliation. I wonder how she has managed to bear it. It's all for the money. I've heard Qin Sweki is generous, but her temper is dreadful. This maid must be enduring it for the meager tips she receives. Such a pitiful creature must have her own faults. If she had any backbone, she would have left long ago and spared herself this torment. In the face of this scene, not a single person stepped forward to intervene. Instead, they offered mocking remarks. Hearing the commotion, Lin Kai furrowed his brow. The Xia group and the Qin group had business ties. He should not involve himself to avoid unnecessary trouble for Xia Qianqian. However, Qin Sweki's behavior was utterly excessive. The maid had clearly stated it was unintentional, yet Qin Sweki chose to humiliate her publicly. Must one be trampled upon without dignity merely for being in service? Stop it! Lin Kai could no longer bear to watch. He shouted, pushing through the crowd to confront Qin Sweki. His roar was like a clap of thunder, instantly capturing the attention of everyone present. Who do you think you are, daring to raise your voice before me? Are you tired of living? Qin Sweki crossed her arms defiantly, her chin held high, her eyes filled with arrogance and disdain. Lin Kai ignored her, focusing on the woman on the ground. As he gazed upon her familiar face and the star bracelet adorning her wrist, he felt as though he had been struck by lightning, frozen in place. That familiar visage, though marked by fear and helplessness, was unmistakably Lin Se, the sister he had longed for and searched tirelessly. Witnessing her tear-streaked face and the bruised, deformed hand beneath Qin Sweki's heel ignited a surge of fury within him. Lin Kai strode purposefully before Qin Sweki, raising his hand to deliver a forceful slap across her face, which radiated with pride. The sharp sound of the slap echoed resoundingly in the banquet hall.